Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. Thank you for joining in to our live stream tonight. We're going to be trying something a little bit different, man. We are going to try and get some stuff going. You know what? I have lots of friends. Believe it or not, I know it's hard to believe. I know it's hard to believe that this old whatever you want to call me, has a bunch of friends, but I do. I got Big Game James. I got West Coast. I got E2 Blue. I got DMV. I got Michael Anthony Fitness. I got Law Nation. I got Vosh Lombardi. And there's so many others. And you know what? There's a problem out there these days. I don't know what the hell's going on, but for some reason, they keep trying to suppress all of us YouTuber, Facebook people, and all that. I don't know if you heard about the Dallas Cowboy Nation Facebook page with over 200,000. I can't even say those numbers. 200,000 likes got shut down because they said they took intellectual property from the Dallas Cowboys. Law Nation's channel was demonetized. I lost my other channel that had 28,000 subscribers. 28,000. It's getting to be ridiculous. It's getting to be scary because it seems like, every time something good is about to happen with, football. For me, it was a week before the season started. Law Nation, it was just before the draft started. Right now it's right after the draft. In the Dallas Cowboys fan group, they lost it all. I mean, it's scary. So, when I have a problem, I will rack my brain to come up with a solution. I will do anything, and I won't sleep at night until I come up with something. But I'm going to figure out a way that we can take all of this content, because I tell you what, I will take Vosh Lombardi scouting against anybody on ESPN. I will take Law Nation's, word and nothing but the best voice over anything that you see on Fox Sports. I will take my man West Coast interviewing anybody over what you see on the Sunday shows. And we got to figure out a way to take all that content and put it together and start creating our own shows between all of us. I got Philly 500. I know he's a stinking Eagle fan, but he's funny. He's good people, and he has real insight on the Eagles, and you got to know your enemy. So I don't know how we're going to do it just yet, but we're going to figure out and do it. We're going to do it, and it's going to be really, really cool. I am working, the ESPN has Bristol, where everything comes through and all that. That's the headquarters and all that, and their branch out and all that. Well, that's what we are trying to do right here from, close to the nation's capital. This will be the headquarters. I'm looking right now. This is crazy. If you guys actually saw what I'm doing right now, I got a computer, and I got a computer. I got 4 screens right in front of me. I have 2 separate Skype feeds that are going to go through here. And what we're going to be able to do is, let's say Miss Jackie, the next time she goes to like the home run derby, I can have her actually interview in directly into my system, so we can get coverage right out there in the field. What does that sound like to you guys? Sound kind of like what the other networks can do? Yeah, but it's because of your guys' support and help that we're able to do any of this stuff. So I appreciate all that you guys do, because you guys keep me motivated. You guys have been the best help when I've been down. Miss Jackie is always keeping me informed. I got North Carolina's Cowboys fan. I got Incognito. I got all these great moderators out there. I got my man Joseph Hartley, who's helping. Whenever I'm down, Joseph always knows, and boom, he's always calling, hey, buddy. He's helped out as far as giving me stuff to help donate to the fans and anything else. So we're going to build something together that's going to be really, really great. So on to our Dallas Cowboys. It's funny because Carson Wentz, they're talking about getting his contract and everything done. And you've got, people that believe that Carson Wentz is the best quarterback around, that Dak Prescott can't carry his jockstrap. We got dink and dunk Dak. And it was amazing because I put a video up, about an hour ago, because I was getting ready for the show and I had NFL Network on. and they had David Carr. And if anybody sends me that video one more goddamn time of David Carr at the NFL Experience throwing the football against Dak Prescott. Now, understand this. Listen, when you go there, you'll see David Carr's picture up on the site. You know, all week before anybody gets on there, he's been practicing. I got to make sure I look good. Dak walks up, and I'm going to tell you what happens, okay? When Dak goes in, because I stalked him. I'll admit it. When Dak comes in for stuff like that, he comes into NFL media. He does an interview there. He goes on Radio Row, hits all this stuff. Then he goes in, because he was like at the mattress thing, you know, doing whole promotion over there and reviewed by Michael Vick. They literally just bring him through, and it's just like, okay, boom, on to the next thing, boom, on to the next thing. So here you have Dak, who's been gone through doing all these interviews and everything else, and he comes up and now, oh, okay, we want you to throw the football at these targets. What? Okay, all right. You know, and so people think that because David Carr threw so great, because he practiced, not a game now, not a game, we're talking about practice, that he is so much better than Dak Prescott. Have you looked at his record? Have you looked at how many interceptions he threw? I'm glad that he can do carnival rides, sideshow throwing, because he didn't bust a grape on the NFL field. But anyway, they were talking about Derek Carr. He called him, or excuse me, not him. One of the other talking heads called him dink and dunk. He averages 6.6 yards per pass in the air. They had the 5 lowest. And surprise, surprise, Dak Prescott wasn't one of them. Oh, open for business, and let's wake up the football. You know, I got so excited, man. Thank you very much. See, like I always say, this does not work without you guys. I need you guys to keep me straight. It's just too much going on. Tonight we got West Coast coming in. Hopefully we have Law Nation over here. We're going to be trying something new. Pray that I don't have any hiccups. Hopefully the sound is okay. Hopefully the picture's okay. Well, the picture's probably not okay because I'm old and wrinkled. So if I look old and wrinkled, then the picture's fine. It's just me. But here was an interesting thing here I want to play. Thanks to a fan that sent me this. This was actually the Will Kane show.
Dak is better than Wentz. Fight me.
Dude, Dak and Wentz aren't even in the same galaxy.
Yes, they
bro.
are.
They're not in the same conversation.
You're right, because Dak wins.
You mean to tell me?
I love this.
You mean to tell me that a guy who has averaged, and I like Dak, but he's averaged 22 touchdowns with the best running back, or arguably the best running back in football, and the best offensive line in football, is better than a guy that literally was having the second season ever in the history of the NFL behind Dan Marino, was lighting the league on fire, runaway MVP, and you think that Dak is better? Why?
Okay. Oh, good. I'm glad you asked. Okay, so let me just write down your arguments. You say touchdowns thrown between the two. Dak has averaged 22, and I know Carson in that, 2/3 of a season was off and running. In fact, you said the best second season in NFL history. My rebuttal would go something like this, Orlovsky. Dak Prescott had the best rookie season, first year, of a quarterback, I believe, in NFL history. That's according to QBR, touchdown to interception ratio. He was pushing Tom Brady records on those type of stats.
Okay,
Hold on.
Pause.
No.
Pause. No, because I need to take that. You have to
I
understand
love this.
that offensive line that year was historically great. Not just, really good, historically great. So you take a quarterback and put him behind an offensive line that is going to give you time. Quarterbacks make bad decisions when they don't have time. So all those times he's dropping back in the pocket and the offensive line, basically, dude, we played against that Dallas team. I remember the Sunday night game going, man, this guy has throw all the time.
Okay, listen. Okay, now my turn. Dallas, over the last 3 years, has had a top offensive line in the NFL. It has not, by season's end, been ranked number one. Do you know what teams has often been ranked ahead of Dallas's? The Philadelphia Eagles.
Line, there's no question.
And so I don't understand why you're using Dallas's offensive line against Dak, but not doing the common denominator of saying the Eagles have a massively great offensive line in front of Carson Wentz.
Oh, I'm not doing that. But if you're going to call both offensive lines a wash, okay, cool.
Well, but that was one of the major tenets of your argument. I am going to call it a wash.
No, but then strictly look at the performance.
Get him.
I'm ready.
Even with that dominant offensive line, has had 22 touchdowns.
Orlovsky,
we got a hater in the house.
Dan.
Carson was on track for 40.
Okay, 2 points on this. You've picked literally one of the only two statistical categories that favor Carson Wentz. Touchdowns and yards per game. And by the way, yards per game is 250 or so for Carson Wentz and 220 or so for Dak Prescott. But
So it's
what
like
more?
30 yards.
So Dak, well, man, but Dak wins on QBR. I think he wins on quarterback rating. He wins on touchdown.
Dak wins on QBR because he took less sacks.
Oh,
and he runs
okay.
the ball. And that's
Okay,
a valuable thing.
Okay, congrats.
Well, it is
That doesn't.
it's a valuable tool.
Come on, QBR. Because
Hey, all right, let's keep going. Completion percentage,
He's
Dak.
losing this. He's losing.
Fourth quarter comebacks, Dak. Game-winning drives, Dak. I'm telling you, you literally only have touchdowns and yards per game, Orlovsky. And here's one more thing. You have to use the word which you did, which was on track, because what Wentz did was in 2/3 of a season. What Dak has done over 3 healthy seasons, and by the way, the last 3/4 of his third season looked just like the rookie year. He only had that lull in the middle.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Let me ask you this. Do you think Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback than Matthew Stafford?
Yes.
Matthew Stafford has 1,000 more fourth quarter comebacks. So take the fourth quarter comebacks. If you're going to use that, then Matthew Stafford has 1,000 more than Rodgers. So take that. Those are all circumstantial. I'm just telling you.
It shows who can complete it, though. It shows who can pull off the win with it on the line.
But that doesn't determine who's a better player, right?
I mean, certainly one of the qualities.
But you think Rodgers is better than Stafford, even though Stafford
but Orlovsky,
has significantly more.
Dan, listen, I defer to you on quarterback analysis, but listen, I know what I'm doing when it comes to making an argument. That was one argument. That wasn't my complete argument. That wasn't my sole piece of evidence. It was one.
Just a little.
Okay.
Just a little hole.
All right.
Ask yourself this: if you take Dak Prescott off the Cowboys and put in, I'm not even going to use Wentz. Put in, the 10th to 20th ranked quarterbacks in the NFL,
Right.
however you deem them, but just the average guy.
Right.
Are the Cowboys what they have been over the last 3 years?
friend,
likely.
My friend,
we did.
And I'm talking to Dan Orlovsky, ESPN football analyst here on the Will Kane Show. You ran yourself into a box canyon with this argument. You finally did it. You tripped up your own feet. You're giving me the W. Because I used this argument right back to you. You take Carson Wentz off the Eagles and you put in, I don't know, the 10th to 20th best quarterback in the NFL, and what do you get? And for the Eagles, you know what they got? A Super Bowl championship. They won it all. I think you don't want to bring up that argument. I don't think you want to play that game.
No, but I'm talking over a 3-year span rather than a 5-year span.
Hey, real quick, the other thing, Dan, you have to at least submit this point, and I like Carson a lot. Dak wins all the intangibles. I mean, by Carson's own account, Dak has been winning the leadership argument. He's been winning the locker room argument.
I wouldn't say all the intangibles. I mean, I think they both have bright young futures. And also, I know you're going to kick me off, Cerruti, you wanting to get rid of Jared Goff is a bunch of baloney, dude. Like the guy. So you mean to tell me that? Let's say Sean McVay was there and drafted him, and Sean McVay sat him as a rookie, and Jared Goff never played in his first year as a rookie. And then in the last 2 years, he's got 60 touchdowns, 19 picks, 8,000 yards, and went to the Super Bowl. We would be going, I think I can get rid of this guy and be okay. Like, come on.
For me, though, Dan, it's less about Goff and more about the system of McVay. Will and I were talking in the break. Like, do you think that you can get similar production out of a guy like Case Keenum? And I think the answer is probably yes.
Stop it.
Okay, you just lost that argument there.
Stop. And I like Case Keenum, but stop it, dude. Like,
Is he Hey, Orlovsky, is he a system guy at all? That's what Cerruti's argument is. Is he a system guy?
They're all systems.
Okay, but that's enough of that. But talk about being owned. Will Kane actually owned him. And that's how it goes because, here we have over here, it's amazing because we're always told that the Dallas Cowboys offense, they don't push the ball downfield. Dak sucks and everything else. But it's amazing. Most throws, teams that throw 5 yards or less down the field. The Vikings were number 1 with Kirk Cousins. Wow. Jaguars, Colts, Raiders, Steelers, Giants, Lions, Patriots, Ravens, Packers. Don't see the Cowboys on that, do you? fewest, Seahawks, Texans, and the Cowboys. It's kind of amazing when you think about it. Now, where we are kind of falling behind is our offense is still been kind of outdated. We have been kind of the redheaded stepchild, so to speak. We've been way behind. Run pass options. We're talking about the staple now of the NFL. You can see the Chiefs, 25% of the times with Pat Mahomes, run pass options. The Bears, 19%. The Eagles, third at 14. Where do we end up lining up on that? Last year? Oh, West Coast is calling. Whoops. I don't know why it didn't ring. Let me call West Coast. Sorry, West Coast. Where do we line up on that? 6% of the time. That's it. 6% of the time is all we do run pass options. And understand, we got a great quarterback in Dak Prescott who is built like a linebacker. Come on, West Coast. You can get it. I think that might be Clarence. Okay. West Coast, I'm sorry. I didn't see you. It didn't register when you called. Let me try one more time. That's one of those things that basically is disguising what you're doing. It's making the defense have to figure out what you're going to do. Every time, or more times than not, we have just lined up and figured we're going to beat man on man, as opposed to giving up different looks. Answer. I'm trying to answer. Okay, there we go.
There we go.
Okay. Can you see me? I can see. Oh, I can see me. I can't see you.
Here we go.
Hold up. We them boys. Hold up. We making noise. You can do it. You can do it all night long.
Let me see something real quick.
We've got Tyson on the line here. Hopefully he can get his camera working. It's great to actually see somebody who's less technology challenged, or excuse me, more technology challenged than I am. DMV, what's up, my man? Ah, there we go. Everybody, we got the West Coast coming to the East Coast, and we ain't got no beef. We ain't got no beef. So, it ain't Tupac and Biggie or anything. Nah, we Dallas Cowboys. What's up, man?
Oh, man, I'm great right now, man. I'm on here with the OG, man. Oh, man. Ready to get this thing popping. You know what I'm saying?
I'm excited as can be, man. Okay, so tonight's topic, okay, now here's my thing. I started thinking back because I know you want to bring Dez Bryant back, okay, right?
Oh, I mean, I'm gonna tell you like this: if Dez Bryant is still out there trying to better himself as a wide receiver, and he's still willing to take a vet minimum, absolutely yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I can deal with that. I can definitely deal with that. Well, my question was, or the topic for tonight for me is: last year they did a deja vu. In 2009, they said we're going to make a Tony Romo friendly offense. They got rid of T.O., and it started off looking like some butt. Not good, juicy butt. We're talking about one of them long, flat butts, okay? But Romo got it together after about the fourth game and ended up with about 4,400 yards in that season. But the first four games, one of those games, he had a 29 QBR. And people had to start questioning whether or not, so much for this being a Tony Romo friendly, this thing looks like some ass. So my question now is, now that we started that statement last year, they moved on from Dez Bryant, we finally got Amari Cooper. Is this offense now Dak friendly? Is the question.
Well, I think it's going to be remaining. We're going to have to get into camp and see. You know what I'm saying? I think the Dallas Cowboys did the best things possible to try to make it Dak friendly because, one, you went and got the kid an actual quarterback's coach who's actually played like productive games, meaningful games in the NFL with one John Kitna.
Right.
So, that was the first thing that they did. Then secondly, the wide receivers that they brought in, Randall Cobb is, a lot of people, we don't really scout him that much because he wasn't a Cowboy, but Green Bay fans, they know a lot about him.
A whole lot about
his backyards. You know what I'm saying? And he's really aggressive, after the catch. If you go look at his highlights, it almost looks like not Amari Cooper from the beginning, but it definitely looks like Amari Cooper to the end, because he is a one-step. If you don't grab them hips, he's going to take you to the house, So I think, as far as trying to get him the best weapons possible, and then you still have a guy like Cedric Wilson that was on IR, who's a big target who I think is going to be, who'll be able to get some time this year too. I think that the Dallas Cowboys are making it as Dak friendly as possible, but I mean that's what you're supposed to do. I mean, you tell me a team that's not friendly toward their offense, and that's good.
Well, I tell you what. Well, the DMV says Dak friendlier, but not completely friendly, or not Dak completely friendly. I'm not sure how much more we could do with the situation, but I tell you, a team that doesn't seem to be too friendly is the New York Jets. All right, Cowboy fans, we complain a lot, but how'd you like to be the Jets right now?
Man, I'm just happy to be a Cowboy fan, man. I'm happy that I'm happy I wear a star, man, because I couldn't imagine sharing. Don't they share a stadium?
They share with the New York Stinking Giants. But you hear about Le'Veon Bell?
How are you a billionaire team and you share your stadium? That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, one week it's blue, the next week it's green, okay? And, the Giants, they practice right next door. The Jets are on the other side of the city and stuff. It's crazy. But,
that should be a pre-qualifier as
and it's not even in New York. It's in New Jersey. It's in New Jersey on top of it, okay? So enough said. But, the Jets, there's rumors that they're willing to trade Le'Veon Bell.
I mean, I heard about it. The reason why you hear about that is because, personalities trump everything in 2019. And from what it sounded like, the original GM, the original coach, didn't necessarily want Le'Veon Bell. So now that they got him on the contract, they're a lot of times. You saw what Arizona did with the quarterback. I would have never thought that would have happened.
True.
You know what I'm saying? That a team would trade a quarterback they just drafted. But hey, if you'll trade a quarterback that you picked 10th, why not trade a guy like Le'Veon Bell that you just drafted?
I guess so. But the whole thing of giving Adam Gase the GM job. Dude couldn't coach in Miami. It's crazy enough that he immediately got fired in Miami, got the coaching job, but now you turn him over to coach and GM? Now, so all you people out there that are talking about how bad Jerry Jones runs the Dallas Cowboys, man, that's a dumpster fire of hot garbage if I've ever seen one right now. I'm just happy we played there,
But you got to remember, to Miami's credit, man, Nick Saban couldn't get him back either.
Yeah, and he was smart enough to say, you know what, I'm gone. I'm out of here.
Nick Saban said, you ain't going to mess my reputation up.
Right. All right, so away from that dumpster fire and feeling blessed to be a Dallas Cowboy fan, offense being friendly is not only the players. I was actually looking at I love Pro Football Focus comes up with all these different stats and stuff that kind of make you go, And run pass options usage. Kansas City, 25% of the time, run pass options, their plays. The Bears, 19.2. Third, the Eagles at 14.5. We only use run pass option about 6% of the time.
Dang.
Yeah, and see, that's where, to me, and I've always said this, because you've seen Dak Prescott bootleg. You go ahead and you get Zeke Elliott doing a dive to the left and everything else. You get the offensive line doing a flow. You get Dak faking that. He rolls out to the right. And either the cornerback's going to have to come up and try and get him, in which case the wide receiver's going to be open, or he ends up staying on the wide receiver and Dak can run. And that's where a lot of these plays are coming up, because you generally are going to have one-on-one coverage. That's what RG3 lived on when he was with the Washington Redskins. He was not a pocket passer. But if he could get out there on the edge and teams were worried about him running, he was deadly. And it's amazing that 6% of the time.
Absolutely. I mean, and you got to think, man, that's just that is pretty much the 2019 scheme of an offense. If your quarterback don't have some type of shakes, if he don't have some type of movement in him, he's going to be on the ground, man. So it's Deshaun Watson actually got sacked more than Dak. He got put on the ground 64 times. Dak got put on the ground 56. I mean, so I would think Deshaun Watson's pretty goddamn movable. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of sounded like everybody had a problem, protecting their quarterback last year. So I mean, if you don't have some type of movement in them hips, you gon' even if you don't take a lot of sacks, you're not gonna really help your team out. You know what I'm saying? And we're about to have some movement on our offensive line. To be honest, in my opinion, I don't think that what we believe our offensive line right now is going to be the same 5 guys. Whatever the final game is next year, I mean, at the end of this year, I think we're going to be very surprised the last 5 offensive linemen that are going to be starting in that final game. Prayerfully, it's in the Super Bowl.
Hopefully.
That's what I'm saying.
But, speaking of Houston, though, you think about some of the passes that Watkins, that he threw. Think about Hopkins, how often he jumped through the sky to get a lot of these passes and stuff. That was a difference in talent right there. Hopkins made him look a whole lot better than what he was. We didn't have anybody, it's certainly the first half of the season, with that kind of capability. You could say Amari Cooper was definitely, in that category, but he was on a whole different level of skilled players. And it was amazing because I was watching NFL Total Access, and they were talking about Derek Carr, who is averaging 6.6 yards per pass, almost a yard below Dak Prescott. Yeah, he's the lowest. And so they were going through with the lowest yards, for the pass the ball being in the air. One more now. Sorry about that. We got Law Nation joining in. Let me see. Oh, hold on. Okay. All right, guys. Say a prayer. Let's see if this. Oh, my God. Okay. Law Nation, can you hear me? Law, can you hear me?
Testing 1.
I hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me, Tyson?
Yeah, I can. I'm good.
Thank you, Jesus. Oh, my goodness. Okay. All right.
I can't hear. Say Law. I haven't heard Law once.
Law, can you hear me?
Since he got on.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear Law?
No, I can't hear him.
Oh, damn. Hold it. You're not hearing Law. But, okay. Are you hearing Tyson?
No, but I can. I can't hear him, but I can hear you.
Okay, so what did I do wrong? Okay, let me try. Okay, let me see. Can you hear him now? Say something, Tyson.
Yo. Hello. Cowboys for 6. Let's go.
You don't hear him, do you? Damn. Okay. All right. This was the one test I didn't do, was to try and Skype 2 people in at the same time to see if they could hear each other. I can hear both of them. They can hear me, but they can't hear.
Hey, you know what's the best part about off season?
Yeah, we on 2 different lines. And I have to call in on the original line with Tyson.
Wait a minute. Hold up, Law, for 1 second here. Let me do one thing. Let me try one thing. Hold on. There is.
How you doing, Gina? I see you. How you doing, Bob? Bob says the city owns.
Keep on talking on there for me.
Yes,
okay.
Bob, the city of Arlington does own the stadium.
Okay.
Leah says saving money. How you doing, Miss Leigh? How you doing?
Okay, let me do one thing real quick, and let me know. Let me know if you guys hear this. Okay, it's gonna be Charles Haley saying, "Sit your ass down." Okay. Hang on 1 second here. Let me do this, and tell me if you guys hear this.
Leah says, "Hey, I see you."
Okay.
Nah, we didn't hear that.
So then, okay, tell you what, Law, call me back on the other channel then.
No worries, man.
Okay.
No worries. All right.
All right, so I got to figure out. Sorry, I was so close. So close. Okay. All right, we were so close. I got to figure out how to get these 2 crossed so that way you guys hear each other. I hear it here.
It's all good. Hey, while you do that, I'm gonna talk to these subscribers in my comment box real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Gina, how you doing? She says, "Hey, Dallas Cowboy fan from Modesto, how you doing?" Shit, if you're in Modesto, that means that we should be seeing each other at the Cowboys versus 49ers preseason game. I hate calling them preseason game because people be like, "Oh, I don't really have to go." No, you do got to go. If you ain't doing nothing on a Thursday, get your narrow tail to that game.
Oh, no, you didn't say narrow tail.
Hey, that's we coined that around here. Buddha, how you doing? She's very optimistic about our line this year. Man, I'm very optimistic about our line too. And I ain't gonna lie, man. I got the Rialto Department of Bombs Department looking at my inbox right now because ever since I said that there might be a slight chance that Frederick may not come and be Zeus, that's all I said. I didn't say that he wouldn't be a man, but I just said he might not be Zeus.
Add Law to this. I forgot how to do it. How I add a second one to it?
Yeah, go ahead. But yeah, ever since I said that, man, y'all I mean, I lost, my inbox been going crazy. So I'm not saying that he not going to come back and be a mere man. I'm not saying, you know what I mean? And then Diane with one N says, great news. I love it too.
Where do I add?
Adam says, I'm going to keep in touch, brothers, and keep it up with this positive Cowboy fandom. You already know.
To the call.
Buddha says, ringtone remind me of a simpler time. You already know, man. Mac with Skype, man. That remind me of military days.
All right, make me feel
everything
stupid.
Skype reminds me of my military time.
Okay, add. Okay. All right.
There you go. It shows the icon on this.
What's up with you, Eulelio Velasquez? How you doing?
Yo.
Are you on there, Lawrence?
Yeah, I'm live like 95.
Right, so we're going to have to work on the system here. I'm getting closer. I'm getting closer to what I want, but not quite there. I just got to figure out how to cross the system up. Okay, so Law, you can hear Tyson. Tyson, you can hear Law?
Yeah.
Tyson?
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
So the question of the night, Law, was, is the Dallas Cowboys offense now Dak friendly or not?
I mean, everybody, if you look at the roster as far as the height-wise, all of these wide receivers are taller now, right? And everybody's nuanced route runners. Now, the person that can't run the best routes is Michael Gallup, but he can high point the ball like no other.
Mm-hmm.
I like Randall Cobb. He's an A1 route runner. Allen Hurns, A1 route runner. Amari Cooper's A1 route runner. Everybody, even my dark horse, the guy that I'm rooting for, is Cedric. He's an A+ route runner. So, and all those guys I just mentioned outside of Randall Cobb is 5 foot above 5'11". You know what I mean? Those all spells are Dak friendly. And then if you talk about if you get into a pinch, you need somebody to take the top off the defense. I think Tavon Austin can still do that. And then your boy Tony Pollard can do the same. So, I mean, it's loaded.
Yeah, man. That's basically that's what I was saying too. Like, I mean, I think we were Dak friendly last year, man. Like, it's all about, I mean, I'm not gonna say it like this. I don't think that the Dallas Cowboys are so centered around one player where it has to tailor to this. I mean, once we got Amari Cooper in here and actually start playing like a team and actually start being more cohesive, we were actually pretty goddamn productive. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, I think the Cowboys need to be friendly to whatever these like my biggest issue with the Cowboys offense is like there's moments in football games where you don't understand what they're doing. Like if you want to run, then I understand it. But there has to be some meaning behind what you're doing and what you're trying to achieve, because there is an ultimate goal. And it's what? Scoring a touchdown. Is the goal on this play to get 3 yards or does it get 6 yards? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I think if we could just implement situations like this, like me and Mark, I try to call you Mark Holmes, but OG come out first. So I'm gonna just stick with
That's fine. I just like to give you a hard time about that, man.
I was talking about OG earlier, and that's what I was saying, kind of like in that Rams game. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's the same mentality where it's like, yo, if it's working, let it work. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If it ain't working, then we can tweak it. But if it's working, let it work and build on it. You know what I'm
saying? You're brilliant, Tyson, because this is the thing, West Coast. The Patriots, and I'm not using the Patriots as a ruler where we have to go, but they do whatever it needs to be done. If it's 3 running backs out there, they're gonna run you three running backs. Mm-hmm. If it's passing the intermediate pass, it's gonna be that week. And if it's running the rock, it's running the rock. If it's beating you with the long ball, then Tom Brady, we're gonna beat you with the long ball. And I only said this, we was talking about, is it Dak friendly? I think that Amari Cooper is now Ezekiel Elliott friendly, because now you're gonna have to answer for the 7 to 8 man in the box. Now also, when you bring in a Tony Pollards of the world, that's gonna help out Ezekiel Elliott. He's not gonna get all of those touches, so he's gonna be a fresher Ezekiel Elliott. So now, instead of, we love Ezekiel Elliott catching the ball out of the backfield. He was the check down guy last year, which was cool. But now we got somebody that's in the middle of the field, like the Blake Jarwins of the world, and also Jason Witten, that can catch the dump ball pass in the middle of the field, which can open up hundreds and tons of things, man.
Yeah. I mean, I like the fact that you brought up tight end. You know, I ain't gonna lie, they're gonna have to sell me on the usage of a tight end because right now I don't. I mean, you got to think. Last year we won. We were the only. This only happened twice in Dallas Cowboy history where we actually won an NFL game where we did not give a tight end one target, and we won a game last year where the tight end. I'm not even saying forget catch a pass. Like
we didn't even try to throw one to him.
We didn't even try to throw the ball to him.
And of course, tight end is actually the new wide receiver. I mean, you look at what Gronk did for New England. You look at Zach Ertz, with the Eagles. Yeah, tight end is actually a new weapon these days, and we definitely do not have one. And to me, and I've said this to you before many times, to me, a lot of the times you looked at Dak Prescott holding on to the ball, it was like he was looking for Jason Witten, and he was never there. And I think, I know he's slow as dirt. I know he still can't beat anybody, but he still got sure hands, and he can still catch the football. And you know what? If he can get us 6 or 7 yards as opposed to us getting a sack, we're good.
Yep.
I agree. 1,000,000%.
Now,
that's the biggest thing. Like, life is not really about making wholesale changes. That's not really about it. Like, to be honest with you, if you are ever in any business or any relationship where you need to make a big wholesale change, you probably need to just scrap everything. And I don't think we're in wholesale change mode. We're in tweak mode. Like, I think we finished the fact that we did go to the second round of the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? I know that, that the expectation is a Super Bowl, but let's not diminish the fact that we were a 3-5 team who did make some tweaks and made it and got the privilege of playing 2 more football games.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So let's not just say let's scrap everything in 2018 was a failure, because everything in 2018 was not a failure.
And let me ask you this. West Coast. We built the plane while it was in the air last year, because how many coaches did we change out last year? It was a lot of them, right?
Oh my goodness. Because we got rid of Mr.
Chris Richard. We can go one by one. Chris Richard was a first-year coach with us, right?
Yeah.
This new philosophy.
We have
Sanjay Lyles, okay.
Okay, Paul Alexander, Mr. Ketchup Bottle himself. Okay.
Yeah.
The running backs coach. I can't remember the running backs coach.
You had you had Kellen Moore, you had Chris Richard, you had Paul Alexander on the offensive line. You had
our running backs coach and linebackers coach both go, and our special teams coach.
Linebacker coach. You had a special team coach go. The special team coach went to Oakland.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man, wow, that's
see that's building the plane while it's in the air, and
and during the season we let go of Paul Alexander, okay, too, during the season. So yeah, and he had tried changing to make us more of a zone blocking team, which did not work whatsoever.
Right.
So we went back to what they were doing before. Now, I just think back. I want you to turn back the hands of time to a year ago. And think about where this team was right now. Think about Tyron Smith out your way, out on the West Coast, rehabbing his back, doing all kinds of different stuff to get back. And you had to wonder, should we have drafted somebody to replace him? We had Jalen Smith still with drop foot and not sure if he was going to be able to play, and figuring that Sean Lee was going to have to be the guy. Of course, we had just let go of Dez. Jason Witten was gone. And we had a rookie who was going to start at guard.
That's a lot of changes, man.
Now, you know what's funny about that? At that point, they had us ranked about the 13th best team in the NFL.
Oh, wow.
At this time of year.
I didn't know that. Wow.
This year, the same poll has us at 19.
Yeah. Well,
can you explain that one to me? How do you have... How do we go from being in that position and being ranked higher than we are with the studs? And everybody keeps saying, "Oh, well, you didn't have any impact players returning." Because they can't crack the lineup. You got all pros or guys that were high round draft picks just about throughout the team's roster that are going to be starting and coming back that have a chance to actually play in the same position, for the second year that are all still young. So how did we get worse?
But let me throw this in, and the media controls a lot of things, guys. I looked at any channel you turn on, any network, whether it's NFL Network, ESPN, Fox, the darling team that everybody loved this year is the Browns.
Oh my God, yes. And
they love the Browns, and then the second team that they love is the Arizona Cardinals, and the third team that they love is at the tip of my team. But let me break down the second team. When Patrick Peterson got suspended, they said, "Oh, this is going to hurt the growth factor of the quarterback because the quarterback, when the quarterback throws an interception, normally it's the defensive leader that goes and consult him and let him know that it's going to be okay." And then on top of that, everybody picking the Browns. They love the Browns and the Cardinals. Yeah, I'm just saying they making all types.
You know what? The Browns. I'm sorry. The Browns they're an accident waiting to happen. I'm sorry. It's going to be the Eagles' dream team all over again because you can't bring that many people together and expect them to turn around all of a sudden have cohesion. Especially when you have Odell only showing up for one practice so far, and not really being part of the team. That is
right, and you heard them making the excuses for that. They're like, "Oh well, it's not mandatory now."
I think the biggest thing Browns. I think the biggest thing with the Browns, honestly, is like the parts that they have don't really match each other. Like Odell Beckham does not match to be on the same team or even in the same city as Jarvis Landry. Jarvis Landry is a guy who averages 150 catches a year. Where's Odell Beckham going to get 125 catches from? Is Baker Mayfield now about to go from averaging 29 passes attempts a game to 43?
Like
and then on top of that, is that best for your franchise right now? I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want Dak throwing the ball 43 times a game. So I for damn sure don't want Baker Mayfield throwing the ball 43 times a game. Because if he's throwing the ball 43 times a game, which he'll have to do just think about this. In order for Landry to get what, quote unquote, a good season for him and Odell Beckham to have, quote unquote, a good season for him, that means Baker Mayfield is going to have to double his pass attempts while completing those same passes. I don't, that's going to be the biggest. Like, if he does that, Baker Mayfield is the MVP next year. Period.
And the third team is, I forgot, the Kansas City Chiefs. But you right, West Coast Cowboy, because this is the thing, fam. It get cold up there in Browns, and you can't pass that rock when it get cold.
You're right about that. You are 100% right on that one.
I almost feel like Odell Beckham and Jarvis are going to balance each other out, where they think that they're going to get this. Like, they think they're going to get like this Tim Duncan and David Robinson effect, where you have the Twin Towers out there, and one can kill one game, the next can kill this game. But no, bro, you got two alpha dogs who are going. And I'm gonna be honest with you. Last time they played on the same team, Jarvis Landry was the little brother. I don't think he wants to go back in that room.
Yeah, but Odell is going to get upset because Cleveland is not the nightlife of New York and the bright lights and everything else. He's going to have a hissy fit. And when he gets out there in the cold, you remember seeing him against the Green Bay Packers when they made the playoffs that 1 year that he was there? After he carried his ass, after beating the Redskins, didn't even go home. Went straight to Miami to hang out with Justin Bieber. They had the whole boat ride and everything else, and then proceeded to show up for the Green Bay Packers game and try and act like the cold didn't bother him out there at 3-degree weather with no shirt on, and then didn't even show up for the game.
Yeah, right. I mean, playing in New York, they'd be good on that cold. But I mean, I just think with Odell Beckham, man, like if you're a wide receiver, if you're gonna bet your career, you're a wide receiver. That means you're a professional catcher of the ball. That means you have to have someone who's slightly decent at throwing the ball. Why are you gonna put that on a and I'm not saying I'm not saying that Baker Mayfield's not a good quarterback, but Baker, this is the type of you would want to give this to like Matt Ryan or Matthew Stafford, guys who already throw for 4,000 yards.
Right.
So you're just changing the names. Like you're basically asking, unless one of these guys are going to be okay with getting like 900 yards and the other guy getting like 14, I think you're going to get two 1,000-yard wide receivers, and I don't think you should have to pay for two 1,000-yard
receivers. Go get him, Miss Jackie.
I don't
Yes,
think
it
you should
did.
have to pay that much.
But here's what's amazing. Okay, because now, like I said, I'm beginning to love all of the numbers that are coming up because I have talked till I'm blue in the face, Cowboy blues, of course, in the face about Dak Prescott. And no matter what you say about Dak, there's always going to be a reason for it. And I played a clip from Will Kane with I'm trying to remember the other gentleman that was on. I don't even want to call him gentleman, but his whole thing was Carson Wentz is so much better and everything else. And Will Kane actually killed him on it. And everything, the stuff he was using as excuses was just some straight up bullshit. Now, like I said, I was watching NFL Network, and they were talking about Derek Carr. And they went through, they said, well, he had two new offensive tackles, and he didn't have great talent to throw to and everything. And I'm like, wait a minute. It's like, hold on. Wait. When we say that stuff with Dak Prescott, what we hear is a great quarterback will elevate the team, and they'll be able to put them on their back and take them someplace. So I'm like, well, wait a minute. You're going to go ahead and use a different parameters for Dak Prescott than you are for everybody else. You done made excuses for the guy who is the true dink and dunker, the guy who has the worst completion percentage in the NFL, and say, well, he didn't have anybody to throw to. Who the hell were we throwing to the first 8 games?
Right.
Everybody was the first day of school, nobody knew anybody. You had to put masking tape on the helmets so you knew who the hell you were throwing to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. West Coast, we had what was it? Deontay Thompson. We had Allen Hurns last year.
Right.
Who was our starting wide receiver line?
Terrence Newman was out there for minutes, and Cole Beasley when he wasn't injured.
Terrence, yeah. So it was crazy.
But I gotta like my boss Cowboy say, I gotta give a little pushback because this is my thing, right? I got kids, right?
My daughter, okay, give me the analogy. Hey, before you say it, I'm gonna let everybody know he got the coldest analogies in this world.
Oh
man.
shit!
Hold on. I
haven't heard his analogies.
He had used one of these analogies. Just because you don't like my wife cooking, go ahead and finish it.
Oh Lord!
This all right. So I got a daughter, right? I'm gonna just real quick. I got a daughter, right? She feels stylish. She won't wear nothing unless it matches, right? And so, I walk out the house. She don't want to wear a jacket. It's raining cold, right? So it's raining cold. She get in the car. I tell her, take your jacket. I'm not going to wear no jacket. Take your jacket. I don't want to wear no jacket. All right, whatever. Don't take the jacket. Go to school. Guess what? Because she go to one of these prep high schools, you know what I'm saying? About 3 hours later, about 10-ish in the morning, she's calling me and asking me, can I come pick her up because her throat is now burning. And I'm saying like, dang, it's amazing when the very thing that you wanted and that you desired has now become the hole that you fell in. Oh. And now that's my emergency. You know what I'm saying? Now I have to now jump up and go change my day when we could have just better prepared. So it's like I kind of like turn my nose up just a tidget when people say, we had Allen Hurns and we had this person. Well, if you said to get rid of Dez Bryant and you did not have a formidable backup for it, you were okaying this. So my thing is this: before we say use that as an excuse, because remember there was a large contingent, even Stephen Jones, when he said, "Well, we don't really even need a number one wide receiver. There's only a handful of number one wide receivers in the NFL anyway." Yeah, what happened to that? What happened to that mentality? What really happened?
Can I hit an excuse button? Can I hit an excuse button?
Go.
They wasn't planning on Old Reliable to leave as well. They said, "Damn, Old Reliable's gone. Jason Witten, for those who don't know, Dez Bryant was gone, and the emotional leader, the leader of the team was Cole Beasley. So he was the vocal leader of the team."
And think about this. Law. The craziest thing in the whole situation is that we sold that lie to ourselves. That was our own fault. Weeks 1 through 8 was our own fault because we legitimately, Sports Illustrated, week 1 said that we had the 31st ranked weapons in the NFL. And you know what I did? I got pissed off and did a video about it. How dare me?
I think we all did a video about that, man. But you know what?
Guess what? We really suck.
Okay, let me acknowledge the people in here real quick. Chris Jackson, D. Will, I've got Avocado Dravins, DK Andrews, I see Miss Jackie, of course, is handling business and stuff in here. She said no Des talk tonight. She's keeping control on it and everything else. Miss Jackie was at the home run derby the other night. In the future, in the future, I'm gonna have you calling in and Skyping into the show, Miss Jackie, so we can share it with everybody. Speaking of that, Law, you were at the Travis Frederick's event the other night too with Cowboys Experience, right?
Oh yeah. We got look. I'm gonna tell you something, man. Cooper Rush looks like he belongs in an accountant. Mike White looks like he's still in middle school or high school, and those are our backup quarterbacks, right? And in West Coast Cowboy, Antoine Barbecue Wood, he confirmed that, man. He's bigger, he's stronger, and he's more knowledgeable of the defense, right? And on top of that, Randall Cobb, man. The boy look like he's well put together. He's ready. He's lock loaded. He's laser focused, and he's ready. He said he just can't wait to get out there on the field. Who else I spoken to? I spoke with Sean Lee.
He mesmerized you with his eyes because I heard a rumor that you're not supposed to look him dead in the face. They said don't look Cobb right in the face. I'm not gonna look him in the face. Did you?
No homo, but the man eyes do look like
belongs on. In the face. I knew you did.
I look like it belongs on a woman, man.
Oh Lordy. Okay.
Hey, but whoever he been in Dallas for like 10 minutes, but whoever lined him up, man, man, his barber is off the chain, man.
You gonna have to see it in. I can see it all over your face right now.
All right.
I'm not gonna look at. He gonna get me. I ain't gonna look at him.
Don't do it. It's like don't do it. You'll sink, huh?
Oh my goodness.
Yes, indeed, man.
Everybody who's joined in, of course, we have West Coast in the house. He's here on the East Coast joining us, as well as listening to nothing but the best. Law Nation joining in as we spread the mojo around. I believe you're on Facebook right now too, right, my man?
Absolutely. We are live on Facebook, Dallas Cowboy Scouting. We ain't gonna say that loud because we know somebody ain't supposed to be on Facebook. But we on Facebook.
Yeah, I forgot about that. You know, and see,
just all I'm gonna say is we ain't gonna tell nobody else, Law. We ain't gonna tell nobody else, Law. We ain't gonna tell nobody else.
I tell you, everybody, make sure you go through, check, subscribe to my man Dallas Cowboy Scouting, of course, to Law Nation 2.0 and Law Nation. Oh, I see. There's Vosh Lombardi. I look uncomfortable. What do you mean I look uncomfortable? My back's bothering, my knee hurts. It's because I'm an old man, but no, I'm cool. I'm enjoying myself. We need to have your behind back over here. If you're still in VA, we need to get you to come back over for some more chicken wings and stuff. But here's the thing, YouTube and Facebook and all these platforms are evolving, and the NFL, I love the NFL. I know we all love football. The NFL, they're making sure they're clamping down on everything, and it kind of scares the heck out of me because we are slaves to the system. We got no control over whether or not we're on Facebook, YouTube, or anything else. My other channel got shut down. Law Nation, has had his issues and stuff and still fighting against them. You saw Cowboys Nation Facebook page shut down. We have
237,000.
237,000 Dallas Cowboy fans that the Dallas Cowboys said, nah, you're encroaching on our intellectual property. So we are trying to work together and figure out what the next thing is, and we're going to try and come up with our own sports channel or something or other. But we're going to be doing something really, really cool together. We're definitely going to be working with Cowboys Experience and stuff and getting together, doing stuff, videos on their channel, as well as definitely doing more of the events like my man Law Nation, who's in Dallas, is able to go to, and definitely tailgates and game trips. So we're going to be very, very friendly and stuff. What game are you looking forward to the most, guys? What game can you not wait for?
Man, I'm looking for the first two games. I think that I'm tired of us starting off on the odd year slow. I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of us starting off period slow. We need to really punch both of these teams in the mouth. Mm-hmm. And I think we need to set the tone, let the world know that we are for real. And also, I love the fact that we ranked 19th and people rating us as 16th overall in this NFL. I love flying under the radar, but I just want to just punch every team in the mouth. I just really want us to have that dog mentality. I'm tired. I'm ready to fight.
All right. And how about you, Tyson?
Shoot, honestly, man, I not to feel sound corny, man, but my season starts preseason game week 1, man, in San Francisco. I'll be there live in the building, man. That just lets me know we made it through another training camp, man. So I'm just ready for that first preseason game because that's the beginning of the end because that's the best part. You know what I'm saying? It's like, because football season is gonna end at some point. So when it starts, it's like, dang, we one step away from it ending. So week one. Yeah, 49ers, man, I'm ready to see what these young boys is going to look like. I think that game, the preseason this year is going to be more important than it usually is. Why? Because we have a bunch of guys on one-year deals, so we got a bunch of guys who cannot really afford to be sitting. You know what I'm saying? So, I think so you can see guys playing, and then think about this, Tristan Hill, all these backups, this is usually when they would play. First round pick, all those guys are going to get shoved up. You know what I'm saying? D-Law, Taco, and Randy Gregory have a possibility of not, being available. So who even knows who's going to be? And then Tyrone Crawford may get suspended. Not saying he is, but I say he may. That's 4 defensive linemen. So that lets me know that, man, there's some dudes on that defensive line who might not have, who probably wouldn't have had a chance nowhere else, but they're going to have a legitimate shot to make this team. And guess what?
Who your pet cat is, man? Who your pet cat?
My pet cat, my pet cat.
Or your dark horse, yeah.
My silent guy. I'm always kind of rooting for on that defense. Honestly, big number 99, man. Woods, man. He showed your boy a lot of love last year, and this is a bag season for him, man. So a guy from Compton came out of nowhere, USC. Made it through the ropes, and doing it the right way, man. And also Rob Marinelli, man. This is one of the few guys that. That gets to come to this program and Rob be like, that was a guy I picked and look what I did with it. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
Tennessee didn't want him.
Right.
And we didn't know who Antoine Woods was. So that's kind of, and if he can play like a dude that's all pro, imagine if Woods plays like a all pro or not even a little bit under an all pro on our defensive line besides oh my God, D-Law and Anthony Quinn gonna get 15 sacks apiece. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be ridiculous.
If we get that push in the middle, amen on that one. Actually, in Law, who's your dark horse?
Man, it's again. Now, as far as the rookies, I'm going with Michael Jackson, and then I'm still rooting for Cheeto. Man, that's my guy. As far as like the guy that's been on his team, I really think that last year towards the latter part, he became a little bit better, started turning his head around for the ball. Although the guy from the Seattle Seahawks caught that pass on him, I still rooting for Cheeto Bouzier. But I want Michael Jackson to set the tone too. I think that with his presence out there on the field, getting that size on the defense, you guys know I don't like DBs. I love them. So I just really want to see some turnovers and takeaways. I want to see that guy play a little close to the LOS too. So that's my pet cat and that's my dark horse, and my pet cat is Cheeto.
Well, I tell you what.
Again,
can I throw a question out there? Can I throw a question on the
Of course,
side?
man. We family.
Who's your? Oh my God! I didn't know he got cut, but he got cut. Player.
It's gonna be, man, for me. It is gonna be so tight with it though. Because it's Alan Hearns, man. How is Alan, man?
That's one of them.
Not make this team. There's some folks that's not about to make this team.
Tyrone Crawford.
Who you say?
Tyrone Crawford, Alan Hearns, Lyle Collins. One of those three will not be here, guaranteed.
Wow, you said Lyle Collins? They're gonna hit me hard right there, fam.
I'm just telling you because listen, the bottom line is the bottom line. It all depends on how McGovern plays. If you end up having McGovern come in and say he can be a starter, you're gonna kick out. Did I lose somebody? Okay.
I mean,
because if you can put Connor Williams out of tackle, you're talking about $8.5 million. You're talking about money that they need, and that's where football is a cold-hearted bitch because you look at money, and that's the bottom line. You got Tyrone Crawford that you can save about 6.5, or is it 5.5? You got Alan Hearns that you save 5.5, and Lyle Collins is $8.5 million. And if you're talking about having to pay these guys, your money's got to come from somewhere. Oh, it's Voss trying to come in. Oh shit!
But you know what? While Voss is coming in here, my thing is when I saw Tyrone Crawford at the event, and West Coast can tell you too, this team they don't like Tyrone Crawford. They love him. They all gravitate around him. He actually was at the event corralling. Everybody was like centered around Tyrone Crawford. You see. He wouldn't let nobody get close to Zeke. He wouldn't let nobody get close to Dak. But he was that guy that was just like the defender of everybody. So it's going to be a hard cut for them to cut Tyron Crawford. But I feel what you're saying, though.
I think my three maybe surprise cuts or guys that might have a chance. That one is I could see not necessarily a cut, but someone I should have worded it better as far as they're not on this team, because if you put it like thing, I think that that definitely opens up La'el Collins, to be put there, because the third round pick is definitely
ah, shit. Did I just mess this up? Did I just Hold on, man. I lost the rest of my crew because of this. Hold up. Damn you, Vosh.
Man, the hell going on up here?
Hold on. Damn, how do I get back to them? Shit.
All you gotta do is hit the merge button, man. You ain't gotta.
It's the merge button. I added you to the call.
What the hell going on up
man?
Here? What's up, Chad Box? Vash Lombardi, what's
Vosh
good?
And where's Tyson? Damn.
Come on, man. Mark, you need to know how to do this by now, man. What's going on?
I always do the stuff by myself, dog.
Golly, man.
Okay.
Where am I at, man? Where young Michael Anthony at, man? Tell him come help you.
Hold on. Okay, I got
Yo.
back on. Okay, I got you back on.
What's up, Lawrence?
Shit.
What's going on, man? Who this is?
That's Vosh in here fucking things up as always.
Damn, boy, Mark don't know how to press a button.
Because it's all, hey man, I'm a one-man show. Damn, where is Tyson on here?
Look, man, I called Mark on Skype. Mark cut the whole computer off, man.
Oh my goodness, man.
Okay.
Shit. What's cracking up? What
Now.
y'all talking about up here?
Man, we're talking about possible guys that's going to get the axe, and Tyrone Crawford was one that Mark said, and who else you said, Mark?
All right, hello.
Yeah.
Did you lose me?
Yeah, I that was my mistake here.
Yeah, La'el Collins was the other one, and there's a third person you said.
Hearns Collins and Tyrone Crawford. One of those.
Okay.
Guys.
All right, let me shoot you my three. I gotta
still there, Vosh?
agree with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Vosh is up in here. All right, what's up with you, Vosh? What's up?
What's up, young Tyson? Cool.
What up with you, man?
Yeah.
So my three, the three that I was gonna say is I definitely agree with you on La'el Collins. Simply because you can either do something via trade. I don't know if they'll just straight out cut, because the Dallas Cowboys haven't, as long as you keep your mouth closed, they ain't really been cutting folks. You know what I'm saying? So I think they'll probably even let him make it if he keep his mouth closed. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let me throw this at you.
Wait.
Let me throw this at you.
Go ahead.
Let me throw this at you. How much of a drop off really was La'el Collins opposed to a Doug Free, or how much of improvement was La'el Collins opposed to a Doug Free? Y'all help me out. Because I know some Cowboy fans will say, "Hey, we went 13-3 with Doug Free was in there." So let me know, man. Just help me out, Botch. I know Botch got the answer.
Man, Lord,
Lord.
Man,
Let me grab the bottle here.
Listen, man. Talent-wise, La'el Collins is as good as anybody on that offensive line. Talent-wise, it ain't close. I remember when Doug Free was leaving and La'el was coming in. What everybody say, man? All you got to do is be better than Doug, and that ain't.
Yeah, we'll crop, baby.
The problem with La'el ain't his physical talent, bro. It's his composure in games. He misses with his hands. His feet are fantastic, but he'll let somebody like Ryan Kerrigan get hands inside on him, and next thing you know, he bull rushing La'el into Dak and the Zeke. Hell, he took him to Jason one time, and I'm like, La'el, you one of the strongest on this line. You might be the third or second. What's going on here? But it's the small technical flaws, and it's something about somebody that's just solid. Doug Free was just solid. He'll never kick like La'el. He'll never punch, move, pull, and smack people like La'el. But it's something about the play. The play just don't add up for La'el. So I've been on my campaign since January to get me a guard so I can get La'el up out of here. I can get young Connor Williams that time.
And you got to think, and also I'm real big on the money. The money says that he's gonna probably go next year.
9.7.
Yeah, like he's gonna go, and he's seventh. Like I was saying earlier, he's seventh ranked as far as pay. He's the 7th highest paid guard already. So he's getting paid. And then you're going to put him in top 5 money. When you put him in top 5 money, it can't be by guilt by association. Like, you got to really be there because you're going to be there. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're getting that type of money, that's dictating that I should be able to do things with you. You know what I'm saying? Like Lyle Collins, man, like if you guys noticed, that screen it worked good, but it worked better on Tyron Smith's side. And I'm gonna be honest with you, you're not gonna tell me that Tyron Smith is not that Lyle Collins is not a better athlete than Tyron Smith right now today.
Okay.
Right
As of May 17th.
Let me get one word in. Hold on. Let me go ahead and get this in for everybody. Yeah, we're gonna go in overtime here because when you get this much star power, you just can't leave it. You know, I can just basically kick back and drink some rum and enjoy myself. So shout out to everybody that's in here. Thank you, Miss Jackie. I hope you can stay in overtime. All you great fans, you are listening to Nothing But the Best with Lawn Nation, Vosh Lombardi, and West Coast. So we are literally covering the whole country from California to Texas to Virginia. Now, I'm going to say this much because we say, Lyle Collins is well liked in the locker room and stuff, and they wouldn't cut him. But
I'm talking about Tyron Crawford as well like that.
Well,
I don't know about Lyle Collins.
But wasn't DeMarcus Ware?
Yeah, but the only thing about DeMarcus Ware
back surgeries. They were scared. They thought they needed
back surgeries and money.
Can I say something about DeMarcus Ware? Because this is something that folks don't want to talk about. And I heard of some people in Dallas make this statement, and that is this: DeMarcus Ware did take himself out on run plays, and this is the thing. Like, players are going to respect, they're going to respect one thing, but it's like when they know that you only want to get paid to do one thing, the players are going to feel one way about you. And then, we as fans are going to see you one way, but and I'm not saying that the players didn't like him, or there was any ill will, but man, I understand why Jerry Jones let him walk, because you want $12.5 million to play 40% of the time. Like, that doesn't even make any sense. You know what I'm saying? So, that's I love D-Law. I do. I'm not D-Law, but I love D-Ware. Obviously, I guess I love D-Law more. But I love
shout out,
D-Ware,
John.
bro.
Thanks for joining in all the way from me,
all
from Nova Scotia.
Is tell me a game where D-Law took a game over, or tell me a D-Law moment that is the catalyst of a game. That's all I'm saying. He's the best defensive end in the first 3 quarters. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm saying. Ooh. And I love me some D-Law. 100 sacks.
So I missed something. You said D-Law ain't shit is what you say?
Oh, I'm not saying that. No, that's not what I'm saying.
What
I'm saying is, this is what I'm saying. D-Law, for the price that we were paying at that time, he only played 40% of the stats, 40 to 50% of the snaps.
Are you talking about D-Law or D-Ware?
D-Ware?
D-Ware. I apologize.
Okay.
I apologize about that. I'm just
that face boss. I smell some shit.
Let me back up.
Bosch was like this. He was waiting for that hammer to come, that Thor's hammer. You know how you call for the hammer? He was like, where that hammer at?
Like, that ain't proper.
He was like this. Where that Thor hammer at?
He about ready to kill somebody.
I was wondering, like, wait, why is Bosch disagreeing with me?
Oh, Lord.
Bosch was like this.
Okay, cool. We straight.
You get what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, D-Ware, let me be clear. D-Ware did not want to be active in the run game. He did not. But one of the things I love about D-Law is D-Law makes a very good impact on your run. So it makes him more of an all-around DN. You know what I'm saying? So that's my thing. And that's why I said, don't hate on me when I get on D-Ware, but I just don't, I don't remember any 4-time sacks, or I remember D-Law taking over a game, 3 sacks. I do, you know what I'm saying? But I just don't remember of those real big D-Ware moments, and I don't want to hate on him, so let's move on.
Good, Tyson. Look, man, because you were saying it, and I'm replaying all the times in my head that I'm ready to get you. You know what I'm saying? But you do have a point, though. Sometimes D-Ware would just disappear, and it could be a product of he had so many guys around him at the time. Like they had a good defense back then too. So D-Ware would take off a run play, but when we needed them, and that kind of gives you indication, we'd be like, yo, man, it'll be nice if we got the sack right here, and D-Ware get it for you. But Man, he got it 3 plays ago. Let me get it 3 plays ago. So that makes sense. And plus, he was 30-something, and plus $12 million back then was a lot of money. So it makes.
I hear you on that one.
And we got beat up by Anthony Spencer contract, whatever his name was,
Yep.
Yeah.
And then my person that I said, my third person that I said that it could be and it's a guy I show a lot of love. Kayvon Frazier, man. I don't know how he's gonna make it through the meat grinder this year because they didn't really use him last year. And then you bring in Donovan Wilson, who, you know, it seems like they do a lot of the same things right now.
I might lose
and
you
then
guys
Jeff
here
Heath
for a second here. Let me change over. I got a little issue.
Nowhere.
Hopefully I don't lose you guys.
I mean, at $700,000, why not give him a shot? He started 16, 15 games last year. So my boy Kayvon Frazier, man, like I'm a little nervous for him, and that's like my only concern because I got a lot of love for him.
But you know, he played quite a bit of special teams though, and we're still kind of thin there on
a fourth-year special teamer.
George Iloka can go, in my opinion.
So who did George or Kayvon? Who would you?
I'm keeping Kayvon. Like George, that he can play with us. Because last year in Minnesota, I remember doing the research. I was like, oh snap, we got George Iloka. Let me look some film up. And I got 13 plays from last year. I'm like, was he hurt? Like, what's going on with George Iloka? I called my mans. He said, oh nah, he was just on kick return, kickoff, you know what I'm saying? Kicking game. Like George didn't even play. And I'm like, did he cuss the coach out or something? But nah, he just got his spot took and he wasn't in the rotation or nothing. And I can't see a guy like that coming up in here talking about some demanding playtime. I know a lot of people don't like Jeff Heath, but one thing Jeff Heath can do is ass can cover. His ass can play one high. He can play in the box. He's versatile in that way. And that's something that George Iloka doesn't really do very well. So I'm up here trying to figure out why people say George is going to come and take Jeff Heath's spot. I don't think George is going to take Donovan Wilson's spot because I was watching his Texas A&M film, and what he can do is cover out of the slot. He can play one high, just like Jeff Heath. George Iloka can't do that. So I don't know what he's going to do. So it's going to come down to him and Kayvon. And Kayvon got, familiarity, I guess. So we'll see what happens there.
It's going to be a lot of barking this offseason. Chris Richard is going to have a lot of competition because we got Michael Jackson. They hire Chris, the 6'7" guy, whatever how tall he is. They hire him. So
love some tall
we'll see.
cornerbacks. Yeah.
They love it. So
I got a question for not all Cowboys fans, but the 80%. The emotional, the irrational, the illogical. It seems like people have so much faith in Chris Richard to fix anybody. Oh, Chris gonna have George Iloka straight. Oh, Chris gonna have Michael Jackson straight. Oh, Chris drafted kid that wasn't even a starter at damn Kentucky, was in a rotation with the number 31 kid.
Wesley.
Boy, Chris Richard gonna have him straight. How come Chris Richard can fix everybody except Jeff Heath? I don't know.
Right, I see what you're saying now.
I see what you did there, boss. We see what you did.
That's damn good.
Angle-wise, Jeff Heath did have some angle issues that he did improve on. But I mean, I just think, I honestly, I don't think there really is improving. Like, if you are a Honda Accord, bro, you are a Honda Accord. You cannot get out there and run with NASCARs. We can put some Supra in you, but you're always going to be a Honda Accord. But I think he can be the best Honda Accord for us. You know what I'm saying? He just can't run with them boys.
And let me put this in perspective for Jeff Heath, man. Go ahead, fam. Because I'm just going to say this. To me personally, I just think Jeff Heath is a free safety. I don't like him at strong. I love him at free, but that's the story of a different day. But go ahead.
I feel you with that. Like, Jeff is a Honda Accord, and I'm cool with that. And the only reason I'm getting rid of this reliable ass Honda Accord, you got to upgrade me. You got to give me a Porsche if you going. But
it's cheap.
But if you can't give me a Porsche, I'm not throwing money to upgrade to a Honda Civic
Come on, man. Damn.
You ain't gonna step out the car to go to a Honda Civic. I feel you. Just because it's built in 2019 opposed to this 2013. I feel you. Yeah.
Right. So
That's
I'm
a good
looking at DK Andrews. He say tools, Vach, tools. You're probably referring to George Iloka's size, which is a tool. I feel you. But what about Jeff Heath's mental processing? What about his range? What about his football intelligence? That don't count for nothing. That don't count for tools.
Think about this. He made the absolute right play in the Oakland Raiders game that was not talked about, but he made a 50-50 shot in a Rams game, and that gets talked about as if like that's
you know what? That's what it is with these cats in my damn laptop. The last impression is what they think was the whole problem was.
Because the Oakland play is harder to make. The Oakland play is way harder to make, and he made that play.
Because we talking about this Honda Accord. That Honda Accord leading your team in interceptions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, true.
You know what I'm saying?
Now let's be honest now. That ain't nothing to tout about because we don't have anybody that's a real ball hawk now.
Hey, but you know what? That we can only do what we can do.
Woods and Lewis are some ball hawks, man.
That's some football players on here, man. Hey, that ain't my fault. I did my job.
Man, look, I feel like people so hard on Jeff Heath because they been hard on Jeff Heath and they want to be consistent. But when he picking people off, when he catching interceptions in damn Seattle, when he almost picked off Matt Ryan, but Julio punched him in the sternum, we don't say nothing then. He's making more rangy plays than the damn free safety. And I love Xavier Woods, but why are we?
You know what it is, Vosh?
Yeah.
You know what it is?
What is it, Mark?
It's because he's a white guy.
Who cares? Because
Hey, look at Minnesota. Minnesota got you. Hey, Minnesota got a crazy white boy named Harrison over there I would love to have number 22 on my team.
Cole. Eric
Cole. I'll take him any day.
Yeah, that.
Nah, but
See, Mark?
No, that was okay. You don't see. You got what I'm doing because it goes back to our quarterback situation there. Because for some reason they won't. What, he had to get up and leave? Or is he going to get his jet?
Yeah, he's charging. Yeah, he's charging.
Okay. You think about our quarterback. For some reason, regardless of the statistics, it's always that he's a bum and this, that, and the other. And it's kind of like I'm curious if it's a reverse effect for him. You got what I'm saying there?
As far as, I mean, let's put the notion out there. To call yourself an intelligent football player, you got to understand the odds of making it into the NFL are almost like 1 out of like 4 million. So it's. I mean, even Eli, and it's sad to say, but you can't. There's not a person in the NFL who made it in the NFL to play in an NFL game and say that they're a bum, including Eli Manning, just because the odds say that you'll get swiped out in college. Like when you get your second year of college, you'll realize, I'm not gonna make it in the NFL. Why? Because I'm not this high, I'm not this tall. So there's really no bump in the NFL. Now this is what I'll say about Dak Prescott. You know what I'm saying? The Dak Prescott, if he's on any other team other than the Dallas Cowboys, you're perfectly fine with what he's doing right now. Why? Because it shows progression. The only thing wrong with Dak Prescott is the same problem that was wrong with Luke Walton. You want to know why? Because Luke Walton won more games every single year. But as soon as we got LeBron, we had the opportunity of winning a championship. And instead of going from 30 games like we did last year to 50 games, which would have been an improvement, hell no, we was trying to go from 30 to a championship. Why? Because we got LeBron now. And that is realistic. And guess what? Now you hire Frank Vogel, who has not even clearly a better resume than my boy Luke Walton. Sorry, I got a little left over from another show, but I had to throw that. That was crazy though.
That's a good nugget, man. That's a good nugget.
What it is though, Tyson. What it is that we have Dak Prescott, and we see guys like Pat Mahomes, right? And not we, but like them. They go, God damn, boy, I want Pat Mahomes, boy, or I want this guy or that guy. But in real life, 24-year-old quarterbacks ain't good like that. They normally not. Like, it takes an offensive genius to bring that out of a 24-year-old quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So what Dakota Prescott is doing at his age is above the curve. Aaron Rodgers wasn't good till he was 27. Ben, Tom, they was winning Super Bowls.
But you can't tell Cowboy fans that kind of stuff, though.
Right. You're speaking too much truth now, man.
But here's the problem, though, is fantasy football has killed it because they're looking at the fantasy numbers and they're saying, well, he's not making all these fantasy points, so he's automatically a bum. But they're not looking at this offense is not a throwing offense. It's predicated on having Zeke Elliott pound the rock, and it was very simplistic. Now, hopefully we open some things up now that we got some stallions on the outside. But, that's where people keep looking. It's fantasy football screws that stuff
I heard
up.
somebody call Ezekiel Elliott overrated and trash just because he only had 6 touchdowns. I was sitting there like, oh, my God.
Yeah, well, we got
so it's Ezekiel Elliott's fault now. And that's all Cowboys fans. That's people walk around with silver and blue on, man, and that just it hurts my spirit, man, when I hear that.
And you also got to remember, Law, that like you got 32 teams in the NFL, but not all 32 teams' goal is to win a Super Bowl every year. Like you're not going to tell me that the Baltimore Ravens are really trying to win a Super Bowl this year. Like they're trying to win one in the next 5 years. They're not trying to win one like this year. You know what I'm saying? But when you see the Dallas Cowboys, it's not even that we're trying to. It is the expectation. You know what I'm saying? So we are the only team that has that expectation. Regardless of we could have just drafted 6 defensive backs in this draft, and people still would have been saying the expectation of the Dallas Cowboys are to go to a Super Bowl.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it's just we could just be like the Browns where we don't expect nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, they're expecting something this year.
It's the other side of that sword, though. It's the other side of that sword. Like,
yeah.
That's what happens when you're the number one franchise in America in any sport. You know what I'm saying? That you have that.
I just think people want what they don't have, and if y'all don't mind me, don't mind me filibustering for a minute.
Okay.
But
I got a
once
big bottle.
upon a time, Tony used to go at that thing and throw for like 400 yards, but we'll say, damn, wish we'll win that game, though. It sure would have been nice to win that game. I see Rain Dakota win games, but he'll throw for like 250, run for like 80, and we'll go, boy, look, Dak only threw for 200 yards, though. Dak only just, fam, everybody's goal when they get a quarterback, the goal is to find a way to win with that guy. Nobody cares about the throws you can make, because for the most part, everybody can make throws. If not, it's your job as a coach to take away throws that they can't make. How can you win with this guy? That's the key. Matt Stafford had one of the greatest wide receivers of all time. Matt Ryan got one of the greatest wide receivers of all time. Matt didn't make the playoffs last year. Neither one of those guys made the playoffs last year. Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest. He didn't make the playoffs last year. We got Rain Dakota Prescott, right? And he may take an extra sack, piss us off. He may throw that bitch to somebody's ankle. He may throw it to the other team. But at the end of the day, that some bitch win football games, which is where we rank guys based on wins. We don't rank guys based on arm talent. Ryan Mallett would be one of the GOATs, but he's not, because he don't win. He don't win. If Brett Favre didn't win, he'll just be a hard-throwing ass bum if he didn't win. Rain Dakota Prescott wins. We aren't fans of the Cowboys to say, shit, boy, we going to draft us a receiver and our quarterback going to throw for 5,000 yards this year. We don't say that. We talk about wins, because that's all the shit that matters. So why once we finally get – hold on, Mark. Why we finally get a guy that wins, we look for all the other shit that don't matter. That's what I don't like.
Where the collection plate at, man? Y'all passed the collection plate around.
No. This is true story.
I just think it's because, man, when you in that foxhole and you barely making it because they didn't see you and you gambling, it just seems like I think people just want I'm tired of paying my mortgage off a lottery ticket for that. I no longer want Dak to have the most comebacks in the NFL, meaning comebacks. That means statistically you were losing going into the fourth quarter.
Offense. Make it where Sewell Philo not on the field, where Redmond not on the field, where Fleming Hearns ain't one guy. I'm not cussing at you, Tyson. I'm just saying, like, you're speaking for what they saying, and I'm cussing at what they saying. It seems like once you get this man a piece to work with, he's magically better than what he was at first. Boy, we had Cooper. We look so much better. Oh, well, Dak need a receiver. Tom Brady ain't never had a tight end he couldn't go to, or a damn greatest head coach of all time he couldn't go to. We only make these excuses when it comes to our guys. And that shit make
There
me
you go.
sick.
Preach, man. Preach.
You know why? The reason being is because you got to pay them. And like, it doesn't matter, man. Once you get, like, it sounds good, but as soon as I get to the register, I got 50,000 reasons on why I shouldn't buy this. And
Pay
that's
the
just
cost to do business. Pay the cost to do business. Because if not, you're going to have to roll out Brian Hoyer, and that shit ain't good for nobody.
You right about that.
That shit ain't
yeah,
good
but I
for
mean, the
nobody.
thing about this, I mean, I don't knock the Dak, because I know everybody's kind of like wishy-washy on how the Dallas Cowboys are handling the Dak Prescott contract situation, because that's pretty much the elephant in the room. Because it's not, if you're still debating if the Dallas Cowboys are going to keep Dak, like, go get on another show, because he's going to be our quarterback for the next 3 years.
This is the Dak friendly
It's just
channel.
a matter of, it's just about how we accommodate and pay for him. You know what I'm saying? The biggest travesty is that we didn't win a Super Bowl in the last 3 years. Why? Because it only cost us $3 million to have him as a quarterback. Hey, but it didn't happen. Now we got to pay $30 million. You know what I'm saying? Or you can start over. Now, this is what I ask people. This is the biggest thing I always say about any decision that you have to make about the Dallas Cowboys. It needs to be filtered through this. When are you trying to win a Super Bowl? Because if you're telling me that that this idea is going to help us win a Super Bowl in 2020, I don't want to hear it. Because 2019 is going to be this year. You know what I'm saying? So, paying him and going for it is what's going to help us get a Super Bowl in 2019. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
so,
indeed.
I mean,
And West Coast, this is my philosophy all the way through with this thing. OTAs and preseason. All I want us to do is come out healthy. And then through the regular season, I'm not even thinking about the Super Bowl. It's in the back of my mind, just like that sexy car that I want to get, that Lambo. But what I'm saying is, what we should do is win our division, get a home field game in the playoff, and then from there, win that playoff game, use that momentum to win the next game, and then we get to the Super Bowl.
No, I'm sorry, no.
Real fast, just on your point, though, Tyson.
I'm going to tell you why. Go ahead.
Real fast, like, I feel what you're saying on that whole, we've been winning with Dak cheap, that whole, like, now we got to pay him 30 deal. Yeah. It's not like we've been winning ball games based on that 30 million that we missing or that we gaining. We don't really pay guys, no way. We've been winning based on drafting well. You know what I'm saying? True, and we're a team that drafts well. Like next year, we're gonna have like 60 to 75 or so $1 million in cap space. And you go, damn, where that come from? Because we drafted all our starters are guys that we brought in, through the draft or whatnot. So in my mind, if you got to pay Dak his 30, just keep drafting well, and that's gonna even itself out. Right. These other teams that put big money on quarterbacks, these other teams that like the Giants or whatever, right? Everybody, man, look, you drop all that money on defense, but they don't draft well. So now that money ran out. All those guys are gone. Mm-hmm. Vernon, Pierre-Paul, that whole big D-line they put together, those guys gone because they don't draft well. We got 5th round, 4th round, 3rd round, 7th round starters on our team. And as long as that don't go nowhere, I think that's the key. So pay Dak his money, and as soon as we can't pay Byron, don't panic because it's going to be a draft that year and a draft the year before that.
Thank you very much for the super chat.
Yeah, I always say this. There's two things in the NFL that you're always going to pay for. You're going to either pay to protect your quarterback or you're going to pay to stop the run. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you and this is the thing. The key to a good team is you got to find a way that you're not paying for both. Because if you're paying for both, you're paying a whole lot of money. Why? Because those are the most expensive positions in football. So the Cowboys, guess what we do? We pay to protect our quarterback, and then we can get to the run. We stop the run on accident. The reason why I say you stop the run on accident is because you got Antoine Woods, you got such and such and such. You got a whole laundry of guys. Tyrone Crawford, a guy. I'm gonna be honest with you. He's better today than what he was 2 years ago. Let's put it like that. True. You know what I'm saying? So that lets me know that we saw something in him early, and we said, we're going to work with this. We're going to keep working with this. You know what I'm saying? So we are at the point where we are the only team in the NFL who can legitimately say we can stop the run and we don't have to pay for it. And I'm going to tell you, if that ever gets to a position where, because think about this, your offensive line is taking up 31%. I repeat, 31% of the cap.
Keep it that way.
Advance say make it 35.
I'm with it.
And that's 5. And that's 5 people. So if you get these defensive line, bro, how could you have a 30 million quarter? You couldn't. So
because
Go ahead.
Because Tyson, how this working is we have a core set, and I did a video on this. We have a handful of personnel spots that we value higher than others. You know what I'm saying? So our left tackle gonna get paid. Our center's gonna get paid. Wide receiver number 1, quarterback, all those guys gonna get paid. When it come down to like left guard and shit, like we're gonna have to let that go and draft another one. Like I don't think like Connor might get paid just off the strength of Leal's not getting paid no more. You know what I mean? Yo guy Antoine Woods, he may not get paid in this system. Damian Wilson, we can't just say, oh, let's pay everybody. Damian might not make it back. But what we got to do is we got to draft guys at those complimentary spots is what I call them. So everybody want to talk about why we not going big at safety. Shit, because we don't value safety like that. We got Xavier Woods in the damn 5th round from La Tech. You know what I'm saying? So I think at some point we're just going to keep drafting corners and drafting safeties, left guards, 1 tech, Sam linebackers, because those guys aren't important to us. Jalen Smith going to get his money. Y'all been seeing the news. Jalen Smith going to get paid because that is a very important part to what we do. Van Der Esch is a key reading will linebacker. He's going to get paid. That's just it.
I'm not falling asleep actually doing some research here.
Jalen Smith is actually a restricted free agent, so technically you don't even have to do a deal with him if you don't want to. But guess what? The Cowboys are saying we're not even going to take a chance.
Yes, indeed.
If you put a first-round tender on Jalen Smith, who was supposed to be in the first round, every team in the NFL, including 2 teams that played in Mexico, are going to call and try to get Jalen Smith.
Yes, indeed. Hey, guys, I got to split like hair, man, but I got to get on out of here, man. But I appreciate you, Mark, for bringing me on. Shout out to Vach. And continue to grind and shine, baby. That's all the time that I have. Salute.
All right. Well, you have been listening to Nothing But the Best, Law Nation in the House. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, definitely go through and do it. And Philly Cowboy 76, thank you very much for the super chat.
I got about 10 minutes too, man. So what's your final thoughts for the night, man? Can I mean, Vach, man, you known around town as the old line, like, you know, the connoisseur. That's one thing that I know.
All he cares about is that damn offensive line.
Hey, that's the only thing you're gonna care about. That's the praise God for it. But I want to know. Stephen Jones made this statement. Our job as a unit is to get the best 5 offensive linemen on the field at any given time.
Sure.
How do you do that in 2019?
In 2019, as of today, La'el Collins is your right tackle and Connor Williams is your guard. But it's going to be a lot of trying Connor Williams out at tackle, like in training camp and stuff like that, because by 2020, La'el Collins is $9.7 million. It ain't going to be there next year. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I understand the front office. They saying, man, you know, we love La'el. We want to pay La'el. We want to keep La'el. Sure, you want to keep La'el, but it may not be realistic to keep La'el. So what I think is going to happen is he's going to, you know, get up out of here, unfortunately. Connor's going to be your right tackle, and McGovern's going to be your left guard in 2020. But as of this year, I think they go ahead and let Collins run at right tackle and let Williams play left guard.
All right, that was a setup question for my real question. Okay. Now with that, what do you do with the Joe Looney problem? Because are you not concerned with that Joe Looney's going to take a step in the right direction this year? Because I would think if Joe Looney is able to grow off of what he did in 2018, he's going to be a pretty darn good center in this league.
My thing about Joe Looney, I think Joe Looney kind of got exposed.
He's not far. I don't think he's built. I don't think he can play.
Uh-oh, but it froze up on you. Uh-oh. You mean I can actually get a word in edgewise? Problem with the network. Hold up.
But bro, you notice how much different a Travis was than a Joe Looney. He was very serviceable, but you can upgrade him. You know what I mean? So as far as Joe Looney goes, he's another guy that, hey man, we might not be able to drop any bread on him. You know, and I think that's Connor McGovern. He can play guard and center pretty damn well. Now as far as this year, I'm fine with the depth we got this year. Let Connor McGovern sit on the bench. Let Joe Looney sit on the bench. Because what's going to happen is, if you look at last year, Adam Redmond got snaps. Su'a-Filo got snaps. Cameron Fleming got snaps. I didn't want those guys on the field. You know what I mean? So if there's ever a situation where we need another center, where we need another guard, then we got guys. We got we got Connor McGovern, and if Joe Looney got to bite that bullet, then I apologize. I'm sorry.
Who's your starting five right now? So I'm obviously Tyron Smith. Who's your Tyron Smith? Who's beside Tyron Smith right now?
The Cowboys are gonna say Connor Williams, but Vice says put Connor McGovern there.
Okay, and then so then my question, man, because I just feel like you're not doing your offensive line a service without having some type of competition. Because I don't want to be under the assumption that Travis Frederick is just about to come in and be an all-pro guard. All-pro center after not playing a year.
I totally agree. And that's why I was on board with drafting offensive line. Me and Mark fussed and cussed over this plenty of days.
Yes, man.
Plenty of that. But I was like, Mark, there's a possibility that Travis may not be ready when we come back. Travis got sick out of nowhere. He could get sick again out of nowhere. So if Travis does come back and he's Travis, then Travis is at center. If Travis does not come back as Travis, then Connor can play center, and Looney can play center, and Connor McGovern can play guard for you. Mm-hmm. You want to talk about competition? Connor, Suafilo, Looney, those guys going to have to fight for that left spot. I think Connor McGovern is the better guy. And that's just in Vosh's mind, because in real life, Connor Williams is going to be a left guard in real life. But you got actual competition there. Suafilo may not make the team, and I'm fine with that because I think he's terrible. Cowboy fans love him because you start him and you won the game. Dak still got sacked 6 times versus Saints. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So we just going to have to come to the grips that this team is more talented than it's ever been. Once upon a time, Jeremy Mincey got 6 sacks for us. We was like, man, we good. Because they wasn't deep back then. We're deep now. So if a guy like Joe Jackson don't make the team, or if Joe Jackson beat Dorrance Armstrong out, or if something happens to Taco, we got to be able to live with that because we got too many guys on this team that can play.
That's right.
Yeah, man. That's actually how we started to keep everybody. That's how we actually started to show up. We were saying, like, there's gonna be some guys. Like I told everybody, hold off on your jersey buying because there's gonna be some guys that's not gonna make this team. And there's going to be some guys that you're going to be like, oh, my God, I thought he was going to make this team. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I tell guys all the time, man, they're like, yo, Vosh, why would you bench La'el Collins and he making all that money? I tell you what, when Van Der Esch started running his ass around, Sean Lee was on that bench. So, it's just going to come down to the best guys on the team, man.
As well it should be.
And to be honest with you, in the offense, our offensive line is such a focal point to our team that it's like you have to be honest on that offensive line. And that's the biggest thing that scares me with Travis Frederick is because Jerry Jones, like let's just be real. Jerry Jones, you can't. If I'm Travis Frederick, you can't tell me, oh, it's 100% about your health. Because if that was the case, why you didn't put me on IR week 1? You know what I'm saying? You waited till week 11. That means you was hoping in the back of your mind that I was magically going up here and get out there and play.
Travis, you okay this morning? Did you get soup this morning?
I wonder when them calls stopped. Like, I wonder, hey, how you doing? You good? You feeling up this morning? Like, you're not going to...
Now, hold up. But hold it. You get that football mentality. Literally, I tore my ACL, and on Monday, I was ready to try and practice and be back out on the field. You know that you were... And you literally have to be on death's bed not to want to play on the field.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. You can want to play, but this is paycheck football. And at paycheck football, if you ain't at your best, you go sit your narrow tail down somewhere. Because now you affected my paycheck. You know what I'm saying? Because now we done gave up 40, 45 sacks, and it's really because you just not healthy. You know what I'm saying? And think about this, Vosh. If Antoine Woods does not stand up Travis Frederick at a practice, and Travis Frederick slaps him in his face, you know what happens? Nothing happens.
Nothing happens.
But I'm going to tell you what else happens. Travis Frederick is your starting center all last year. Yep. And you know what we're thinking about right now? Travis Frederick has fell off a little bit. The only reason why he even knew he had the disease is because he got stood up at practice. And guess what? When they went to San Francisco, instead of him going to the game, he went to a clinic.
Yep, something ain't right, y'all. Something ain't right. Yep.
So that's what I'm saying. The Dallas Cowboys really didn't even know about it then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying,
but hopefully Travis comes back. Give me 95% at least, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was cool with Joe Looney, man, but I dropped it in Dominican Sue film session today, boy. And the Dominican Sue picked Joe Looney up off the ground and grabbed Zeke. Boy, I like, can't have that no more, man. I don't want that no more. No more.
Yeah, but Travis is known for his strength and his immune deficiency. It attacks the strength. So think about this, Vosh. You're not even gonna know. You're really not even gonna know who Travis Frederick is until what, like week 1, unless you have a private practice in the back where nobody can see, and you put him on and say, "Hey, Antoine Woods, I'm gonna give you $1,000 if you stand him up."
Preseason.
He don't, man. And
Travis don't play in the preseason.
He's not gonna play.
But you may want to put him out there.
Touch no grass in the preseason.
You may want to put him out there just to find out.
Even in the preseason, he's going to be going against less talent.
Sure.
So even then, he's going to look. You need to know how he's going to look when you have a DN that needs to get a sack because he needs to make his contract number.
But the good thing about it, though, Tyson, the good thing about it, and we always talk crazy about this organization. Not me and you, but them. They love to talk crazy about this organization, though. But we covered our asses on that one. So if Travis ain't good to go, we got guys that can step right in and play. So
and that's called a contingency plan. Something we didn't have in that Atlanta game.
Yeah.
Yeah. They want you to talk, Mark. One of your,
I was gonna say, I'm just letting y'all just go ahead and go here on it, but we good. I'm just like I said, it's nice letting somebody else just kind of chill stuff here.
Somebody in your chat box say we want Mark to talk. Who the hell is these people?
Man, you guys get me 5, 6, 7, 10 times a day, as Vosh always says. So it's cool to let somebody else speak and take some of the oxygen out the room. But I will say one thing though that did, to your point of how Cowboys fans are. Literally, probably one of the best games I think I have ever seen live, which was the Cowboys-Eagles game. That's when I met you, Tyson, out there in Dallas. We're sitting there watching that fourth quarter. Dak had 2 interceptions in the game and everything else, but that fourth quarter, we ended up manning up, scoring, tying the game up, going in overtime, not letting them have the ball. Here it is, boom. We done beat the Super Bowl champions now 2 times. We're taking the lead in the division. And I had the people behind me, they're like, I don't know about Dak. We need to replace him. And I'm just like, he just threw for 455 yards and 3 touchdowns. Are you kidding me?
Sure.
And it's I'm just like, it had to come from behind to do this. I mean, I've seen Tony Romo throw for 503 yards, which was great, but we lost the game.
Yeah, because of 1 interception, though. You know what I'm saying? Everybody
I know, but you're missing, nobody said, we need to replace Tony Romo. He threw the interception. But it's like, we won the game, and y'all are still saying get rid of the guy. He's a bum.
Yeah.
What I think is going to happen.
Go ahead.
Something I think that's going to happen. I'm not going to be long, Tyson. I think one day the Dak we see in the fourth quarter, that's going to be all quarter Dak. Now, I understand if Dak out here throwing 2 interceptions, and he ain't winning. He just losing all the games, and he flopping around out there.
Right.
And this is only a conversation. This is only a debate because Dak wins ball games because Dak is successful. That's the only reason it's even a conversation. You know what I mean? So at some point, Dak is going to get the shoulder up part of the game, and that fourth quarter thing we see, we're going to see it in the first, second, and third, man. People just got to be patient, and they don't want to be that. Go ahead.
Well, but you know what? I think the thing that's going to change that, though, I think the play calling is going to be a difference because when you look at that fourth quarter, part of the reason why that fourth quarter is great is when they get into no huddle and Dak is calling more of his plays and stuff. I don't believe he believed in that offense that was being called. We saw that we heard that from Amari Cooper, like, why are we running the same damn thing? Let's go with the go route. And it's like we got to run what's called. And so if players don't believe in that stuff, and you could tell by the body language that he got put in the doghouse and only had 3 targets the next week, a guy you just gave up a number 1 pick because Scott Linehan was trying to say, I'm the head motherfucker in charge. That the players don't believe in it. If you don't believe in that shit, the shit ain't going to happen. And I think that Kellen Moore, for no other reason, that these players are actually believing and buying in and saying, he'll at least listen to us and try and incorporate what we see on the field as well. And that alone, that mentality is going to give them an edge that they did not have last year.
Yeah, and it also, you just got to kind of adapt and understand who we are as a team. Like, we are a run-based team with a quarterback-centric fan base. So we are like totally in opposite of each other. Like honestly, keep it real. We shouldn't even be talking about Dak this much because Dak is not really the focal point of our offense. The focal point of our offense is handing the ball to 2-1 and executing on that offensive line. Like, that is the focal point of our of our team, and that is always going to be the focal point of our team. Think about this. That was before Dak. Why? That was before Tony. Why? That was before Troy Aikman. That was before no, actually, I think Roger and Tony started. Tony Dorsett, I think they started. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like we 4 generations into this. So it's like we got to really kind of take our centric off of Dak anyway. And if Dak can just meet the requirements, like what I need from Dak, honestly, is to protect the ball. Honestly, as long as he can, for the most part, protect the ball, the Dallas Cowboys going to be fine in the game. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, his decision-making, you know, I'm not going to say I hate judging Tony Romo and Dak because Tony Romo threw the ball more times, so that means he has more opportunity to throw interceptions. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to tell you like this. Tony Romo never had a running back effectively as Zeke. So I'm telling like this. If Tony Romo had Zeke, Tony Romo probably wouldn't have been throwing the ball 40 times.
Well, hold on. He had Zeke plus in 2014. DeMarco Murray had
no. He had DeMarco Murray. That's not Zeke. I don't give a damn how many.
But hold on. You know, wait. No, hold on. You guys are talking a whole lot here.
I'm saying like this.
No, let your host talk, boss. Let your host talk. Hey, I got a mute button here too.
On 4th and 1, with your season on the line, what did we do?
Pass the ball.
Thank you.
Nothing.
I don't want to hear nothing else. There's nothing else. You had the number 1 rusher in the league behind you in the play on the field,
and the best offensive line healthy.
And we threw the ball.
And he fumbled that motherfucker the series before that.
Okay,
that's not Zeke.
No, my point being is in 2014 though, Tony Romo. This is what's funny because everybody talks about we don't have a 4,000 or 5,000 yard passer. Tony Romo only threw for 3,700 yards because we had a running game. That's when the Cowboys were most effective. If you look at Drew Brees had like 5 seasons or 4 seasons where he was over 5,000 yards. And he was 3 of those years 7 and 9 because you don't want to be throwing that ball. You know, we had years where Tony Romo was throwing over 4,000 yards because we didn't have a running game. You want to be balanced. You don't want to be throwing 4,000 and 5,000 yards with the way this offense is designed. You know, and that's where fantasy football has ruined the game because everybody thinks, well, you're not throwing 4,000 yards. Okay, so Kirk Cousins threw for over 4,000 yards. What the fuck did it do for him? What did it do for him? Nothing.
You make your point.
Yeah, and he has 2 wide receivers making $15 and $16 million. Right. That's what I was saying. If Tony Romo, and think about this, they drafted Zeke for Tony Romo because they were trying to cut back on that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't care who you are. When you throw the ball more, you give the opposite team more opportunities to take the ball.
That's right.
That's just realistic.
You also extend the game. Because incomplete passes and guys going out stops it. Thank you. That's right.
Short out and go home.
That's right. That was one of the failings of our Dallas Cowboy team. We would get a lead up against the Green Bay Packers, and we're still throwing the ball like we're behind. And instead of taking off 4 or 5 minutes off the clock, even if it was a 3 and out, we're doing 3 and out, so we're taking off 25 seconds of the clock and punting the ball, giving the other team more clock. And that has been the history of the Cowboys. Many, you know, I can think of twice against the Lions where we're up by 21 points and lose the damn game because we don't know how to close out a game. But that's what a running back does, and having this offense that is a ball control offense. You want to have a short pass.
But now, Mark, don't even lie though. What about that faction of Cowboy fans that say, "Oh, we're way too conservative. We're playing not to lose, and we're not playing to win"? What about that faction? I can't.
Second most victories behind New England. All we got to do is start playing and showing up and staying healthy and playing in the playoffs. You're winning. You're winning football games. Okay.
You're not going into a season saying that you want to have 7 comeback wins. You're not going into the season saying that. You know what I'm saying? That, you know, so that's not that's why I say,
you know,
that's like
a win is a win.
Know, it is a win, but that's not how you're not going into a game saying, yo, Damian Lillard, with 3 seconds left on the clock, I want you to take a step drop and hit it right in George's face, and we're going to send them home and then do this. That's not what you're doing. You're thinking you're going to execute.
Hold on. We had the tale of 2 seasons last year. We had the first 8 games at 3-5 before Amari Cooper and with Paul Alexander. Once we changed back to getting away from that zone blocking scheme and going back to a power blocking scheme, that helped that offensive line. Right or wrong, Bosh?
I don't know. I ain't gonna lie. I kind of fight for Paul Alexander because my thing is this. We gave up the most sacks we ever gave up in a game in 2018 under the coach that was supposed to fix the offensive line. I know that's a lot. But the worst game that we had last year was the Saints. And Alexander was at home eating chicken somewhere, doing something.
Yeah, but he started out training camp. But okay, all right, okay, I'll give you that one. All right. But I still believe that the offensive line got better. Okay, we also had more injuries on top of it as well. But I believe that offensive line was playing better as the year went on after we got rid of Paul Alexander. Of course, we had Amari Cooper. Now, that's
what it is.
We would have a whole. Let's back up here. If we had just a couple of breaks, we would have had a totally different season. Even as bad as our team was that first 8 games, against the Texans, we decided to punt on 4th down. You remember that? In overtime? If we had picked up that first down on 4th down, we would have won that game. We won that game, all of a sudden our season would have looked a lot different having an extra victory, right?
Yeah.
The Washington Redskin game, we got hosed by that call where, they said we moved the snap. We hadn't gotten that couple yards put back, I guarantee we would have won that game. And I'm trying to think of the other game that we could have won that was just kind of like there. If we hadn't started out the season as slow as we did, because, again, Carolina, we only scored 8 points because, Lord knows, I think Dak only had 4 series in all of preseason with a whole new cast of characters. If we start out a little bit better, that season, all of a sudden, you're saying 13-3, home field advantage.
Yeah, but all those are decisions that someone has to make, and they all have to be the right decision.
Yeah,
so it's like, true. That's why I say, like, it's easier than just saying that, if these people did this, because all those are critical decisions that have to be made in the right decision. But that's why I'm saying, like, I don't necessarily think I'm sorry, like, I don't believe the offensive line got better after we fired the coach, because, and be honest with you, we actually gave up 2 more sacks. If you split it in half, because we actually gave up 2 more sacks. Now, of course, I know we played more games because it was the playoffs.
And we were playing better competition, too, because you had the Eagles twice. You had the same, you had playoff teams that you were playing.
See, Tyson, what happened is, bro.
I think he just got the ball out fast.
No, see, Tyson, what happens is people associate wins with, like, whole team success. So when we ran out guys like Suafilo and Fleming, we won games. So in their mind, they're like, oh, our offensive line doing better because we won games. No, Dak was still getting sacked 6 times and hitting all that. Because, like, look, man, I watch film every week, man. I don't even want to keep saying that, man. But Xavier Suafilo was trash, and he was getting blown up just like Connor Williams was. You know what I mean? His feet were terrible. His hands was worse. Cam Fleming didn't engage with nobody. He just kind of put shoulders on people. That wasn't good offensive line play. When guys are getting hurt, Redmond came in. I don't even want Redmond in Texas anymore. I don't even want Adam Redmond playing for Houston. Go play somewhere far away from us. I don't want that on my team anymore. But we had to build this thing differently, man. We couldn't keep winning with Suafilo. We couldn't keep winning with Cameron Flynn. We had to get better guys in there, man. And I think that's going to be one of the bigger differences moving on next year.
Oh, without doubt, we've got more depth than we've had in a long time.
Hey, and it's the same thing like this. You like to say what ifs, but you got to put those what ifs on some of those wins too. Like, what if Jalen Smith doesn't fly over and hit freaking Kamara on a 3rd down in the helmet to helmet? And what if the referee calls that flag? Then guess what?
True.
We lose that Saints game, and everybody's saying, "Well, damn, they gave up 6 sacks." I know what I'm saying. Hold on.
Yeah. Wait, we can't be talking about the wins now, Tyson. That's some Tyson, that's some damn good refereeing right there when we win. When we win,
that's the makeup for some of the bad ones we've had in the past.
This is my thing. The Saints game I'm gonna tell you guys right now, I promise you, if we lose that Saints game, you look at it the exact same way you look at that Atlanta game. Because the exact same thing happened in that Atlanta game, from 2017, where it wasn't one person, but they teed off on Dak. That whole Saints game. Like, theoretically, Dak could have probably got sacked 10 times that game.
Mm-hmm.
He could have, if Zeke literally lawn chair. I don't know, lawn chairs when you hit somebody and they lawn chair.
They fold on. Okay. All right. You know what?
Literally lawn chair 2 people.
All right.
to save 2 sacks.
We've been on here going on 2 hours now. I'm going to give you the final word because, Tyson, you said about a half hour ago you had 10 minutes. So give me the final thoughts and tell everybody where to find you.
Boy, Tyson get to run this mouth, boy. Tyson can't leave, man. Tyson got to get his points out, man. I know how this works.
Hey man, you already know what it is, man. I appreciate everybody for showing love over on Dallas Cowboys Scouting. Hey, shout out to the OG, man. I appreciate you, man. And shout out for Voch, man. Hey, man, and hit them Patreons. Shoot, man, I'm going to tell you, man, this dude on the guy on the far right with the hat, man. Shoot, I looked at what he did, and I had to support, man. So if I'm supporting, y'all need to make sure y'all support too, man, because it's all about the information, man. So I appreciate everybody for having me on.
Well, let me thank all your fans that are out there on Facebook and everything else. I appreciate them tuning in. Tell them to check out the Joe Boo Sports Report. We're all Cowboys family and stuff. You may not like one person out here, but there are so many people that are out here working hard, bringing you the best content. Forget the 4-letter nation network and stuff. Check out my man over here. So Vosh, what you got to say, man?
Tony Pollard about to rip this thing to shreds and get off my son Tristan Hill. He gonna be just fine, and he might be starting because D-Law
I'm excited about him.
Because D-Law got surgery and Tyrone Crawford might go to jail, so we may need somebody to come in and play 3 today. But hey y'all, thanks for having me though. Voch Lombardi, VOCHLOMBARDI. Say what's up in the chat box so y'all can see me. There I go right there. I break down film and I bust myths, so people saying something about Cowboy football, I break down the film, put it on screen, and, I tell them whether you're right or wrong or not. Follow me on Twitter, VOCHLOMBARDI. Thanks for having me.
All right, man, Vosh. Like I said, if you guys do not know who Vosh is, I don't know where you've been hiding, but come out from under the rock. Definitely subscribe to him. Definitely subscribe to Law Nation. Definitely check out Cowboys Scouting as well because, we're all out here working hard to bring you guys the best content on the Dallas Cowboys. And I will put Vosh up against anybody from ESPN or NFL Network. So as always, friends, thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. You don't have to go home, but you got to get the hell up out of here because it's time to turn out the lights.
Good show.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you showing up.
Yeah, man. I was can I hear it? Lights out. It's all over.